Hello, I'm Kevin Probst, and welcome to Kevin's Corner on this 26th day of January in 2025. And I have been thinking about James chapter 3, verse 1, where he says, "Let not many of you become teachers." And what does he mean by that? I have been a teacher for over 40 years, and I contemplate retirement every year. But I have not yet found myself ready to walk away from a lifetime profession that I've loved and has brought me so much satisfaction. And one reason I sought employment at the school where I work now is because I was drawn to their motto, which says that we're here to educate and inspire this generation to positively impact their culture and their future. And most of my years of teaching have been dedicated to high school students in Christian schools. I was inspired to become a teacher when I experienced the life-changing impact of godly teachers in my life during my high school years in a Christian school. And looking back, I realized how much I took for granted the deep spirituality of instructors who taught me, and they prayed for me. They challenged me to emulate their example of genuine Christianity, and I didn't realize until much later in life how uncommon it was to be surrounded by such caring, spirit-filled people. It's been a wonderful experience and a privilege to be a teacher. However, I will say that the weight of responsibility is often a heavy burden to bear. Teachers have a unique and powerful opportunity to transform how students think, to help them develop a worldview from which they can launch themselves into their own future. And the best teachers must first love to learn before they love to teach. They must then possess the skills to infect their students with a contagious love for learning. And students must be inspired and empowered to make a positive impact on the world in which they live. And although there is some monetary compensation that I receive as a teacher, my real paycheck comes from the reward that I feel when I witness a young freshman begin his or her school experience, high school experience. And for 4 years, I have the privilege of pouring into them and investing in them. What an opportunity to help them mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Being even a small part of their maturation process and witnessing the transformation from childhood to adulthood is wonderfully fulfilling. And adding to that, after having taught foundational and formational biblical principles for so many years, I often run into former students who now have families of their own, who are now living Christ-centered lives and greatly impacting their culture. So why does James admonish his readers that not many of you become teachers, my fellow believers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly? He is specifically speaking to those who are teachers in a Christian setting, in a church or a Christian ministry. And this is a very sober warning that those who would accept the privilege of teaching or preaching the truth of the gospel must be willing to take on the heavy obligation and responsibilities that are attached to such a privilege. And those who are called upon to teach in such circumstances are gifted in ways that others may not be. They have learned things that others want and need to learn. And the cost of possessing such gifts is the strict accountability that is required of those who would teach. Jesus warned, "To whom much is given, from him much will be required. And to whom much has been committed, of him they will ask the more." Well, it is true that such teachers have special gifts and talents, but James, who is echoing Jesus, is warning those who would accept teaching assignments to realize that there is a greater level of commitment to purity of character and righteous living required of those who would serve as a beacon of light to others. The sober warning is to those who would thrust themselves into such positions through self-promotion rather than having been called and appointed by God to serve in such a capacity. It seems in our modern age The desire to be involved in church work has become extremely popular. The real danger is participating in such work as an empty vessel. It must not be considered a common job that can be performed by common people. Those who share the most holy truth of the gospel must not be empty vessels. Rather, they must be filled with the Spirit of God and be recipients of the grace and the power that He provides. Unlike the common teacher in the secular world, a Christian teacher is fulfilling a supernatural calling. He's teaching a supernatural truth and participating in a supernatural mission. James is simply saying that this calling, this mission, must not be taken lightly. And those who are chosen to participate in informing others of Christ's transforming power are held to a higher standard and will one day stand before the God they serve, where they will be required to answer for the talents given them and the mission assigned to them. Oh, to hear these words on that day, "Well done, good and faithful servant." If this video was helpful to you in any way, please watch additional videos, much like this one, and please hit the subscribe button and the like button. And if you know of anyone who might be helped by watching this video, please share. Thank you so much for spending time at Kevin's Corner.